Okay. Okay. This is the bit. I don't know why I said okay twice. I don't know if the beginning caught it, but whatever. Just for a little bit of background, I'm going to... This is the one that I showed you the character sketch of Claire Robin Hamelton. Yeah, she's the main character. 17 years old, has a history of depression and running away, blah, 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 blah. And I will read, I think, 2 pages. Or how about the first chapter? I'm going to expand on the first chapter. It's only like 2 pages long. Just saying. Okay. Claire adjusted in her chair, uncrossing her legs. She still sat on the edge of her seat, however, back straight, head up, staring at the television with an observant gaze. You almost looked like you were going to relax for a second, John laughed. A rueful smile drifted across her face for a second. Sorry. Jesus, Claire. How many times are you going to say that damn word? Claire thought of saying sorry, but decided against it. She's never really put up a strong front unless she was pissed off, and she was way too stressed to joke around. John sighed, reaching for the remote, and muted the television. He turned around to stare at her, discontent etched across his features. Claire, I really don't have a problem with you staying for a couple nights, but I do think I deserve an explanation. You don't have to give me the whole fucking story, but it's 3 a.m., I'm tired, and I am extremely worried about you. His voice was flat, his gray eyes had dark circles under them, and Claire knew he was under a lot of pressure as well. Mirroring his sigh, she spoke to her feet. My parents kicked me out. We got into a fight I don't want to get into, and they kicked me out, and I am sorry. I'll be out in the morning. Claire, I'm sorry. He looked regretful, stood, and headed toward the kitchen. Do you want anything? Coffee? Milk? A glass of water? She smiled. He had asked that question earlier that morning. Or evening. No, I'm fine. However, her voice came out as a croak. You sure? She cleared her throat, tried again. Yeah. Still a croak. Cleared her throat again. I'm okay, thanks. You sound thirsty. I'm going to get you a glass of water. A clink. The hum of a cheap refrigerator. Water system. And John walked back out with a single cup. Here. He handed Claire the water, and she gratefully took a sip. I asked you earlier, and you said you were fine. Another rueful smile from Claire. Why? Tough question. I didn't want to bother you, she said. I offered. His tone was exasperated. Clearly he thought she was being ridiculous. I know. She spoke again to her shoes, took another sip of water. Do you want to talk about what happened? I actually very particularly do not want to talk about what happened, John. At that answer, he sighed again and turned off the TV. You okay? Wait, I messed that up. At that answer, he sighed again and turned off the TV. She took another sip and began to cough. You okay? She held up her left hand, one finger up. Her other hand covered her mouth as she coughed. You okay? John repeated. She hummed, lips pressed together in an attempt to hold back the coughing fit. Down, cough, the wrong tooth. More coughing. She looked up to see that John's expression had changed from concerned to slightly amused. When she composed herself, she couldn't hold back a half smile at his silent chuckles. He gave her a full-on smile and stood up. Well, he began with a stretch. On that comedic note, I'm heading to bed. The word sorry wormed out of her lips before she could hold it back. He rolled his eyes and gestured for her to stand up. When she did so, he hugged her tightly. She wouldn't admit it, but she felt a hell of a lot safer in his apartment than she did in her parents' house. He didn't tell her he wished she'd never been born. He pulled back and smiled at her. You should probably get to bed too. You look beat. She nodded and he sighed. I'm not saying you have to, Claire. You're allowed to do whatever as long as I don't wake up to all the food, electronics, and money gone. It's okay. I know, she said. But you're right, I'm friggin' exhausted. It feels like I haven't slept in a week. Okay, just go to bed then, beautiful. She smiled. I'll see you in the morning. Claire stayed up a bit later, reading, but fell asleep with the book under her head. When Claire woke up, she sat up and gasped. What the fuck? Eyes wide, breath short, unable to remember the events that transpired last night. In an unfamiliar room, a stuffed teddy bear's eyes bore into her own. There was that stupid thing. 20% battery left. Meh. Okay. When Claire woke up, she sat up straight and gasped. What the fuck? Eyes wide, breath short, unable to remember the events that transpired last night. In an unfamiliar room, a stuffed teddy bear's eyes bore into her own. She knew it was ridiculous to be afraid of such a small object, but the blue room, the Harry Potter books, the lamp leaning over, the floor too far away, this wasn't her room. And the bear's brown eyes taunted her, and hers, green, locked in a staring contest with something that never blinked. And then she remembered. Her tightened chest released the air in a rush, and she can breathe again, which she did graciously. At a friend's house. Kicked out. Safe. She went over last night's events in her head. Her mum screaming, "You dirty little whore, how could you do this to our family? To my family." Her dad, when she ran out of the room. "You have to understand, Claire. Her sister did the same thing to them, and it tore their family apart. Your mother is scared." Claire had shaken her head, saying, "I'm not Aunt Dahlia, I'm not. I'm going to do my best. I'm clean, I don't do drugs, and I sure as hell won't sell my kid to a whorehouse." Tears were running down her face. "But you have to understand, babe." No. I am not a whore. The condom broke." Her voice broke too. "I'm 17. Is Carrie blind? She lost her virginity when she was 12. She got pregnant at 14. Claire had been yelling, her arm extended with her finger jabbing towards the door. Her father took a sharp breath inward when Claire called her mother by her first name, but didn't say anything about it. "Claire, please, we can get through this. She just doesn't want this to tear the family apart." "Fine job she's doing then. Absolutely excellent. Claire." His voice said simply to shut the fuck up. Claire had heard this voice many times before, when she didn't get a 90 on the quiz, when she came home late, and when she didn't do the dishes after summer, when she ran away the first time, and the second, and the third a week ago. "Go downstairs, talk to your mother, sort this out." "Somebody's coming." Claire said her next 6 words through gritted teeth. "That woman is not my mother." Her father's brown eyes just bore into her own. He didn't blink. She did. She blinked black tears all through her mother, tearing her into little pieces through the words whore, cunt, bitch, and slut. Countless words that incited pinpricks of anger and hurt, and finally Claire made an attempt to defend herself when the words left her mouth. "And you are not acting like my mother any." Her mother cut her off. Went from sitting on the couch to standing up, hitting her, screaming the words, "Get out! If I am not your mother, then get out!" And she did. So, here she was sitting, waking up in a strange room with a teddy bear and a book and a friend who now stood at the door, looking at her through grey eyes, concern showing through tightened lips and a clenched jaw, eyes a little wide and a worry line etched between his brows. "Feeling better?" he said. "Yeah," she said. A small, breathy laugh exited her lungs with the word, "Yeah, I'm feeling a little better." That's what I have. I actually have more, but it's more bits and pieces. That's the first bit, and I have bits and pieces throughout the entire book. But anyways, you just got an 8-9 minute reading, plus the little introduction where I'm like, "Somebody's coming." That wasn't part of it, I swear. Okay, I love you, C. You mean the world to me. You're perfect, and I love you, and yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.